Hello and welcome to the first video on my YouTube channel. Today we're going to make an A5 card, decoupage card, and this one is going to be for my uncle who's going to be turning 60 at the end of the month. Yeah, this is a A5 card blank base. It's already bought pre-scored and ready to go and comes with envelopes. If you want to make your own, it's basically just a A4 piece of card scored in the middle and then folded. So that's going to be my card base. Then the next layer, I'm going to use this piece of gold foil card from Hunky Dory. I'm going to cut it down to fit the front of my A4 card, which should be, it's normally about 14.8 centimetres. This one's 14.9, and half a sheet of A4 is normally about 14.8 wide by 21 centimetres tall. So I'm going to trim that down, because I just measured that and that was 14.9. So I'll just trim that down to 14.9. And then I don't want to use all of this piece of card, so what I'm going to do is gut it, because it's going to be covered by this piece of card. So what I'm going to do is measure to 2 centimetres, 2 centimetres in, and then 2 centimetres down, and then trim to 19 centimetres and turn it round, measure it to 2 and 2 coming in, and then measure it to 12.9. and then repeat on this side, 2 centimetres in, 2 centimetres down, cut to 19, and then last time 2, 2, and then if I've got guidelines on my blade, I can just trim to where I cut before, and there I have my piece of card gutted, and I can save that for my image, which I'm going to be doing. And now I can stick this onto my card front, and I'm going to use some wet glue because it gives me a bit of wriggle room. I'm using a Collall multi-purpose glue. It's a bit smelly, but it does give plenty of room. It gives a really good stick. I'm just going to go all round and close the lid, and then go back over to smooth it out so it covers the whole area. I'll bring my card base back in. And line it up. I didn't get it quite right, so as you can see, the wet glue gives me some wiggle time to get it exactly in place, and then I can smooth it down. You can use double-sided tape or a tape runner like this, but I prefer to use the wet glue just because it gives me wiggle time to get everything in place. Now I'm going to bring in my next sheet of card, which I'm going to trim to 5mm smaller than the gold piece. So it was 14.9, so I'm going to measure it to 14.4 centimetres wide. and it was 21 centimeters long, so I'm going to measure it to 20.5 centimeters, and that will give me a nice base to work on. So I'll just get my glue, move that out the way, just get my wet glue again all around the sides and just spread it out. Find it a lot easier to do it this way, spread it when the lid's closed, otherwise I find that I end up with more glue than I need and it doesn't go exactly where I want it to. So there we go, and there is the next layer on my card. Now I'm going to use this image here because my uncle loves gold, and this I'm going to mat onto the piece of gold that we gutted from there. So I'm going to trim this down and mat that on, and then with my second image I'm going to cut out and decoupage onto the first image. So let me just do that. Grab my trimmers. Measure this first. So this is 10.5 centimeters by 14.9. So I want to cut this at 11 wide. So it's 14, so I'm going to go bigger, so it's 14.9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that makes it 15.4 centimeters, and trim, and then 11 might just be on, yeah, just there. And because it's so tight, I'm going to use my wet glue again because I really do need the wiggle room. So squeeze some glue on. Let's move round. Move that one out the way. There we go. Make sure I've got nice borders all the way around. Rub all the glue down. Move that. I think I might put this on at an angle just to give it a bit of interest. Make sure the card's the right way up. Opens up. So I'm just gonna put that on, and then that's the actual base of our card done. So now I'm going to come to my image and I'm going to cut this main image out to put onto the front of the card. Everyone says that it is easier to cut out by moving the paper rather than moving the scissors. I actually find it quite difficult and do need to move my scissors occasionally. But from other videos I've watched, the tip is to move the paper rather than the scissors. I've been making cards for about 4 years now. And I still haven't got the hang of fussy cutting properly. I still find I sometimes need to move my scissors. If there's anything you'd like me to show you how to do, just drop me a message down below. I'm really hoping this video works. I've never done a YouTube video before, so I'm really hoping that this works out okay, and hopefully when I get my confidence up doing videos and it doesn't feel quite so strange, then I'll be able to show you a few more interesting things rather than a simple card like this. Yeah, so there's my image ready to go on, all cut out and ready. And what I'm going to use is some foam pads. They're all made by different companies. I quite like these foam pads, and somewhere I did have, I can't find them now, Stampin' Up! I've just brought out a mini range of their foam pads, which they call Dimensionals, and I really like Dimensionals, and I haven't had a chance to use the miniature one. Here they are. So I might actually use the Stampin' Up! Mini Dimensionals, because I haven't had a go with these yet, and I am actually a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the UK, in Southampton. And I've been a demonstrator since February, although I've not actually, at the moment, I'm what they term as a hobby demonstrator, because I'm not actually holding any classes, but I'd love to run a few classes or have someone book me to come and demo the products in your house. These aren't, other than Dimensionals, these aren't Stampin' Up! Products. It's actually all hunky-dory. The foil card, the blue card is hunky-dory. And the image is from one of the hunky-dory little books. And the card, the blank card base might even be hunky-dory as well, but I'm not 100% sure. It's one I've had in my stash for ages. Right, okay. Just trying to work out which ones I've taken the paper off and which ones have still got paper on the back. Yeah, I probably could have done with using the bigger dimensionals on here, or the bigger foam pads. There is a product called 3D glue gel, which I love using too, but I haven't made cards for a while other than Stampin' Up cards, and it's gone all dry in the syringes that you decant it into, so I need to buy some more syringes so I can start using again. But it's perfect for things like this, and like with the wet glue, it gives you a bit of wriggle room, so if you don't put your image down in the right place first time, it gives you a bit of wriggle time. But I don't know if you can see that there's a bit of dimension to it. I don't know if you can actually see that. So yeah, well, I quite like those mini dimensionals. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to, because this is for my uncle, I'm going to die cut a 6 and a 0 to put on here. So I'm going to bring in my grand caliber, and I'm going to use the Stampin' Up large number framelit dies. So I'll put that out of the way for now and just set this up. And I'm using my C cutting plate and my base plate. I always put this down the wrong way, do my plates the wrong way so I can actually see where I'm going, and I need to remember which. Make sure I do it the right way. I think, yeah, that's right. 6 and a 0. And don't worry about all this, it's perfectly normal for any die cutting to get all these imprints in there, because your dies are cutting through your card into your plate. So I'm going to put my base plate on, which I know stuck to there. Okay, put that on there, put that on top, and just bring my grand caliber in. It's quite heavy. Let's see if I can stick it to the base. And just wind it through. You might hear a crack, and that is also perfectly normal, but that didn't crack. But sometimes they do crack as they go through. I'll wind it back. Hopefully that's not shaking too much. I'll wind it back. And you can feel that when your dies are going through, because it gets a bit tougher to push through. There we go. I'll move the grand caliber out of the way. There you go. And my number 6 got stuck. I'll just pop those out. Move that to one side. There you go. Move those out of the way. Decide. I might put those there. So I think that's going to be in the way, yeah. So I'm going to use some of the mini dimensionals again, because I think anything else is going